Hello and welcome to the second episode of the JC Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, John Scott Daniel, here with your other host,
Brett.
And we are excited to announce that we now have a proper audio setup.
Yep.
We actually have the mixer plugged in and streaming off of my computer now. So now we actually have proper adjustable audio. Like I can sit here and just completely mute myself like this. But that is great. But the only problem we're going to have with it is there's going to be a notable difference in video quality. As you can see, we're a little bit more grainy, and now we are completely stuck with this standby off up here. But that's no big deal for us because we're still the JC Podcast. So let's go right into this week. Brett, how did you think this week was?
It was very... Now we got out of school for, 2 days this week?
3, if you count today.
Well, 3, yeah. We got out Tuesday. Monday?
We got Wednesday, and
Friday.
Today. Yeah, Friday.
Which so it was a pretty good week, besides yesterday, the ACT practice.
Yeah. That wasn't the funnest thing in the world.
Well, he was going to do it today if we had school again. Because we have the good old ACT coming up Tuesday.
Yeah, for all of us juniors. But other than that, I think it was a pretty good week. We got out Monday for snow.
Wednesday was for basketball.
Wednesday we actually played in the state tournament. I went down there. It was a good game, but we played a really, really tough team.
Oh,
they're number 2.
I'm not down on us or anything.
Yeah.
But they're like a top 5 school.
They're number 2.
Yeah, I mean they're the top 5 school in any sport
in
the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
I'm not messing with us, but that's just a good school.
Yeah,
it's a top school.
That was an insane game. I went down there to take pictures, and that was honestly one of the most exciting experiences being down there on the floor of Rupp taking pictures.
I'm sure.
That was cool, and just seeing how that team played, just some of the moves they did for defense and stuff, it was ridiculous.
When I heard we was playing Trinity, I was like, I'm not saying we couldn't beat them. But they were, I just knew that school. When you hear that name, that school's a big school.
That means business. Yeah.
I'm not, we do business around here, so I'm not sad that we went down there and ended up losing.
Yeah.
Because we come through here and they're afraid to play us here.
Yeah.
So.
But other than that, it was a pretty good game. And even our boys had a really good season this year. For basketball.
Oh yeah, they had a great season.
Yeah,
ended up upsetting Pikeville, which was probably one of the best teams in the region.
That was a crazy game.
People didn't look at us getting out of the region at all.
Yeah.
Not even one team.
That
beat Pikeville was.
And that championship game up there, that was a crazy game.
Oh, I'm sure. I
wasn't
there, but
I went up there to take video, and the last half of that game was the most intense because we were just neck and neck right at each other.
Oh, I'm sure. I was amazed.
It was 66-61, I believe.
Well, we won by 5.
We won by 5, but
I was very, very shocked and happy that we actually ended up upsetting them because they were the number 1 team, I think.
Yeah.
I think we were 3 or 4 going in the region, and we ended up going down there and winning and beating the 2 best teams to get out of region.
Yeah, that is crazy. And one thing too that was really neat going up there, I noticed, is that championship game Saturday. I went up there and I looked at Pikeville's side. The whole bottom was filled. The whole top was just about filled to the brim too.
Oh,
they brought everyone out to that game. Then you look over at our side, we have that whole bottom section full where we're at.
It's scattered.
And at the top, not as much as full, but it's more scattered out.
Oh, yeah.
It was a crazy game.
But I'm still happy about what we done for basketball. We done good work in the region.
Yeah, and the girls had a good season too.
Oh, yeah. Well, who did they end up playing down at the state tournament?
They didn't make it.
They didn't make it?
No, they got beat out by Pikeville in the championship.
I didn't know that. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, they got beat out by Pikeville. I'm not entirely sure the score from that game.
Who beat Floyd Central?
I don't know. In region?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Was it us?
I don't know. We can look it up. It's probably on, KSHA?
I don't remember who the girls ended up playing.
It was. I don't remember. That's what I'm looking up right now. And let's see. Okay, that's just not that.
I think we ended up beating Floyd Central. Did we not?
I think. I
Or
want to think
Pikeville may
so.
have. I can't remember.
I want to think so. Okay. I have no idea how to work KSHA.
That's what don't
Yeah.
worry about.
All right, we'll just
cut
skip.
that part out.
Yeah. So we don't know the score for that game, but or who we. I sort of think we did play Floyd Central, but don't quote us for sure. But other than that, we have some stuff coming up here next week, especially with the juniors, as we will, as you mentioned before, taking that ACT Tuesday. That would be rough but
once we get it over with, it'll be over.
Yeah, it'll be over. We won't have to really be doing any more ACT prep stuff.
No, after that, I don't think they'll. Besides the ones that pay for them and take them on the weekends and stuff.
Except for like the students that do that to better themselves for it and try to get a higher score.
That's the only time that they'll do stuff. But that's like at the Eagle Enrichment. And stuff like that, because then we get those texts saying about the Eagle Enrichment.
Yeah, and they'll announce it too.
Yeah.
Which
they do that on the intercom all the time.
Mm-hmm. Which that's honestly a good thing they started doing this year, is that stuff to help kids, and that's neat.
Oh yeah, especially seniors.
Seniors, yeah.
Because they haven't really done much with the seniors. ACT was.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I saw that was neat too about that Eagle Enrichment is like if your parents don't, or like if you're not able to ride the bus home, you can like get to your house, or your parents work late and stuff. They have like activities and stuff there after school for you to do. Like your parents can pick you up.
I actually went one time for a makeup test for Mr. Butcher, and I know from now on he was like, if you go and do the ACT stuff, you'll get bonus points. But I don't think anybody in my class has went and done it.
Yeah, I mean, sure, bonus points are nice and all, and like, I don't care to take bonus points if I absolutely need to help my grade out.
Yeah.
Which so far this year I haven't had to.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's awesome is like a lot of teachers here do give bonus points for stuff.
Yeah, we'll see, like Miss Knott, you can get bonus points for bringing in like supplies.
Yeah, a lot of teachers do that with supplies, like chloride swaps.
With the first month of school, first month or
and then hopefully coming up this next week we will have another full JCTV going up. Hopefully,
we haven't done the news in a while.
Yeah. I think it's going to be hard to get everyone rolling back on that, but I'm sure we will. And we'll have another one on Friday.
2 weeks almost?
And it feels like 3.
Really?
To be honest, it feels like 3. I mean,
don't quote us on that, but it's been over 2 weeks since we've done a JC.
It has.
And that really messes us up if we don't get to do that. Because that's usually what we do during the week.
Yeah.
Starting like Tuesday, Wednesday. Is when we all of us start doing our skits and parts of the Eagle News, and we haven't done that in a while. And we've been trying to pull and do a lot of these podcasts, push them out. Yeah, but as much as we can. We sort of have been having a lot of technical difficulties with that, mostly from going from the camera, which is the first one, which after I realized. After I upload, I realized what the problem was. We were going off the internal mic on the camera. That's why it sounded so quiet. But luckily, I was able to turn up the audio and make it sound okay. And now with this, we've done 2 or 3 actual recordings of the podcast, trying to figure out this, but not have audio or something mess up with the computer. We had one that we done that was actually really good. Yeah. But the audio ended up messing up, and we couldn't do it at all. Yeah. So, and if you notice, there's one of us not here today. Yeah, Dalton's not here today. So instead, you get the 2-man crew here, me and Brett, and hopefully, like we said with the last podcast, in the future, we're going to try to have more people out here. We're going to start trying to bring in more guests. Yeah, and
That would be honestly something really cool to do. Is have more guests on here and just make this a bigger thing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm sort of looking forward as we go into this week because this week marks the end of the third 9 weeks. Going in next week.
13th is the end of the grade.
Yep, Wednesday.
Yep.
So
and then we just have no more 9 weeks left.
One more 9 weeks left of high school for our junior year, and one more. Especially that's going to really come on the seniors as that will be their last 9 weeks here.
They don't do nothing, but still.
But still, I mean, there's just so many memories and stuff made here in high school that it's going to be different when you go to college.
Oh yeah, because there's actually a lot of people from last year that there's a couple of them that moved or went to different states for college.
Yeah.
Some of them some of the friends that you had at high school with, you'll
never
kind of lose in touch with when you go down there.
Yeah, that's one thing that sort of sucks about high school is, like, especially if you're friends with seniors, you might lose touch of them. But that's, like we said, like Dalton. I think Dalton mentioned it last time with Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram.
Also, I kind of understand the losing touch as soon as they graduate because they're off going and doing jobs. Yeah,
going out and finding work and stuff.
And trying to finish college to get a good job. And that's another thing. Like, that's probably, and then you'll kind of reconnect with them after all that's over with.
Yeah, which is really cool. And that's one thing I've seen a lot of people do here, a lot of our juniors and sophomores do, is go ahead and, like, I've seen them out working, like, at Wendy's or McDonald's.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's one thing they do push on to us a lot, too, is not push on to us, but they do help us out a lot.
Yeah.
Because up there they have a whole
list of just places, like what age you have to be, how to get in contact with them, and places that would hire high school students. And it's really neat.
If they have openings or not.
Yeah.
I mean, they do that kind of. I think they do that monthly.
That's cool.
They tell you which jobs are looking for students, or
what places are looking for people to work. I mean, that's like one thing that's really neat here is. It's sort of like people here at the high school want to help you out.
Oh, yeah.
Like with that, like that just shows you, like, if you're looking for a place to work and stuff, they want to help you find something you could do. And that's also really neat because I don't think I haven't really heard of too many high schools doing that, like, while you're in school.
Really not.
Which that's really neat.
Because, I mean, like, there's some that right there, and they help us out with a ton of stuff. I mean, it could be from getting classes set up to finding work at school or outside of school.
Yeah.
To help them with the ACT. I mean, it's just
we have so many things here at the high school that they try to help you with, and that's great. Which I love that about those high schools. We do stuff like that, and especially here with so many clubs and stuff. Like if you're part of like Skills USA or HOSA. I know those look really good on like your applications and stuff. Yeah.
Especially if you can go through with it and go to college for it.
Yeah.
Because who was it? Jolene that got accepted to UK during the long season. And I think she was in HOSA. Maybe?
I know for sure.
But I knew that was amazing that she got accepted to
UK
over like when he's at state.
That's cool. Yeah. Or not state, region.
Or region.
Yeah. And then, like, I know with mine, like with Skills USA, where I'm in that, that's always something you could put on your resume, especially if it's a field you're going into. And that's one thing that's cool about Skills USA. They have like so many fields for the different job markets out there. Like they even have one for HVAC. I noticed that the other day when we went to region competition, they had one for HVAC. And I'm just like, if I knew HVAC stuff, I would be doing that. Which I don't know HVAC stuff, but that's what I'm going to do when I'm out of high school. I'm going to go and do HVAC.
Skills, they have what? Culinary.
They have media. They do like trade jobs, welding, carpentry.
Some of pretty much the classes that we take here.
Yeah, like a lot of the classes that are sort of aimed at one specific are sort of aimed at a specific job area. And that's one thing that's really neat here is the different classes we have aimed at job areas.
There's schools that are around us that don't have the opportunities of having carpentry, welding. I mean, just, or, like they go out to the farm, ag.
Yeah.
Some schools don't have ag. Some schools don't have fishing as sports.
Yeah, we have fishing we have a fishing team here at the high school.
There's schools around us that don't have the opportunities to have those classes or sports in the school. We had some schools don't even have track and field.
Yeah, I think here at Johnson Central, I think it's 27. Like things, not sports, like classes you can take towards jobs.
Oh yeah,
in those fields.
There's we have our ag wing.
We have our ag wing
that has like the carpentry.
They have their own shop.
They have their own shop for welding, carpentry, and then they have the farm for ag.
Yeah.
So we have just by school. I mean, like you can.
Then we have the nursing class. Like they actually have actual medical beds.
Oh yeah, that's a whole room. Miss Castle's room.
And the medical CPR dummies.
Oh yeah, have those. Didn't they go to a surgery? Didn't they go to the hospital one time for a little trip to go watch the?
Yeah, or I think they went to one and then they watched a live stream of one.
So I thought I remember close to going somewhere for that.
Yeah, or something like that, and then here with the media, we actually have a studio, which is where we're at right now.
That's a good thing.
These actual microphones are real, actual stuff you would see in an actual studio.
We have a whole room filled of it.
Yeah, and actual professional equipment.
We even have our news station going to Foothills.
Yeah, and actually put up on television, so everyone here at the high school can watch it, and if you have Foothills, you can watch it at home.
Yeah, even people at home can watch it,
which is really neat. And then one thing I know is coming up soon that everyone's sort of focused on and sort of excited about is prom.
Yeah, that's not too far.
May 4th, I think is what I heard.
Yeah, maybe.
May 4th, I think. Which that's only less than 2 months away. A little bit more. Yeah, less than 2 months away.
Mm-hmm.
Which we're just about all done with our prom fundraisers. We're doing the final one.
I mean, that's another thing is once you get to prom, that's when you really find out that you're not too far from school. You're over.
Yeah. When you're first able to go to prom as a junior, that makes you realize because prom's at the end of the year, you're already going on to your senior year, and then as a senior, you're wow, not much left.
I'm afraid senior year is going to be just like freshman year.
Too far
to me.
Too fast.
Flew by.
I know.
Nothing. I barely remember freshman year.
I remember. Yeah, that's my thing too.
Sophomore
it flew
year
by.
Took forever.
Mm-hmm.
This one's took. I'm not gonna say it's took too long.
Not as long as sophomore year, but longer than freshman year.
It's sped up a little bit.
Yeah.
Towards the end. Towards this time.
Yeah, and that's next year. Imagine what it's gonna be like. If it's freshman year, I'm gonna hate it. I want. If there's any year I want to go long, it would be senior year.
Oh, yeah.
Because...
I know I hate school.
Mm-hmm.
I know most of us probably do hate school or,
don't want to be here or just have something that's just you wake up, you're just I dread school.
But, you have to put yourself in those shoes, somebody else's shoes like a senior. Because then you're oh, I really do want to come to school.
Yeah.
Because...
I don't have that much longer left. Next year, I'm going to be out in the real world.
Or I'm going to be at a college or a real job.
Yeah.
And I ain't going to talk to the same people probably.
Yeah, I'm not going to be. This is going to be completely different.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think scares most of us.
Mm-hmm. And that is a scary thought thinking about it because we're not very far away from our senior years either. Mm-hmm. And that's why I want senior year to go slow. That gives us more time here to sort of hang out, be with our friends, learn more,
And that's the thing. And we'll also go on senior trips just like they
Yeah,
did.
just like they did.
That's gonna be fun too.
Mm-hmm. Which,
especially if we go to, say, like Washington.
Yeah, Washington D.C. That'd be a cool trip. I'd want to go.
They're going there this year, ain't they?
Yep.
They're going to Washington D.C. and somewhere else, right? Or is it just Washington D.C.?
I think it's just Washington D.C.
I know they. We also take trips to like Kings Island and stuff.
Yeah, like there's sort of Halloween thing at Kings Island. I know they went to. No, I don't know what it is, but
yeah, that's a big thing for us too. They go.
Like they went to the UK game.
Yeah.
And then they went to the Kings Island
Halloween
thing, and then
they're going to Washington. So
yeah.
They take about 3 trips.
Yeah.
In a year.
Yeah, I think so. Which
that's
that's
really
cool.
Spaced out, but that's also really neat.
Yeah, like it's not trip after trip after trip.
That would be hard to do.
And then I know one thing too that's neat is a lot more, especially now with basketball being over. A lot more spring sports are starting up. A lot more people are coming out from spring sports as they were still doing like basketball and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which
basketball, that's usually a lot of people do basketball.
Which now with tennis, we had a bunch of the boys from the basketball team come out. Yeah, Bryson Hackney and Grant Bingham, they came out. They're on the team. We had a little practice yesterday. Which it was a weird practice because as soon as we got over there, it started snowing. So we practiced for like 45 minutes. And then,
it was. It's about 5 o'clock. It started.
It started snowing.
And then from the rest of the time,
it just snowed. But like we went over there at 5. That's when practice started. We just got out there. We're just like, this is gonna be really cold, but we don't care. So we just went on out there and practiced.
I'm sure it would have been pretty fun.
It was fun
because it wasn't that cold outside either.
No, like you could sit there like. At first it was, but after you got out there and got warmed up, it wasn't bad.
Mm-mm.
No, it was fine. And then I know when I came here today, I saw they looked like they were up there working with baseball, like with softball in the gym.
Well, I noticed there was a lot of vehicles up there.
Yeah,
and I was like, they've got to be doing something. I've seen your truck up there.
Well, I just parked up there because.
Well, I've seen a lot of vehicles, and I was like, what's going on? But there's only like a couple of teachers here. That's when I knew. Like this back parking lot was completely empty.
Yeah, most of the time, if you come here and there's not school going on, there's still a lot of like student athletes here and teachers. Usually pretty sure like academic team and stuff. Like they'll come and do stuff when we don't have school, and like a lot of sports stuff like with basketball and stuff. When they didn't have school, they'd come over here and practice and work on stuff. Yeah. Especially if you could get out, they would take advantage of it. If it was a nice day and we're dismissed for some reason.
Because I know I woke up at 6 this morning and you couldn't see nothing.
Oh, no. It was bad. I went out at 7 this morning because me and my dad took my mom to work. And I went over and showed out my grandpa so he could get out. I live out on 201, and 201, it was just almost covered. I mean, there's tire tracks and stuff where people come out but hadn't been plowed yet, and it was the same way all the way through town. But after that, it's got up just above freezing to where it turned over to that sort of sleet and rain mix. It melted all of it away.
It's slushy now.
It's really slushy and wet, which sucks. But other than that, it's really great. I mean, roads are fine and people are able to get out now.
Yeah.
Which there's even power outages too.
So that was a good thing. I was waiting for my power to go out, but it never did.
Over there where my grandpa lives, his power was out. It's odd, which is odd over there because the way it is over there, like the upper half of their street has power when their half goes out. It's running off 2 different power companies. Don't knock over your pop, Brett. Please don't do that. I don't want to clean that up.
That'll kill me.
But. And that's one thing, too, as we're going into March here, I think we're still seeing a lot more chances for snow.
Well, they said March was going to be really bad for snow.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the worst.
That. Yeah. And that's usually what's happened the last couple of years. March is the bad snows. Which
it's like winter pushed itself back.
Which, that sucks now, because today, where we missed today for snow,
it's the last NTI
today's our last NTI day, and they're not doing NTI next year.
They ain't.
Not from what I've heard.
Oh, no.
So
hey, that's the thing.
So now we would probably be going to June.
One day, that's the thing people don't realize. One day
saves a. We have 10 NTI days.
One day can skip, or if we miss one day, it's like the last, I think it was NTI 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
This counts the weekend, by the way. So if you miss one day and it's a Friday, if you miss that Friday, technically, that whole it pretty much goes to Monday. So we pretty much missed 4 days instead of one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Mr. Butcher told me.
Yeah.
He said if we miss that next NTI day, it would end up pushing us back another 4 days. And I didn't understand until I read about it or looked about it, and if you miss a day, then it doesn't count as a day usually, unless you miss something a weekend or something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like without NTI, it'll be pushing us up to June almost.
See, I don't. We got out. Was it freshman year? I think it was freshman year that we got out super early. It was unbelievable early.
Yeah.
We didn't even use all of our NTI days freshman year.
We had a really mild winter.
It felt like prom. I didn't go prom. I mean, it felt like they had prom, and then we was out of school pretty much.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that it was prom, and then graduation was the next day or the day after.
Wow.
Because I remember freshman year ended super early, but then sophomore year I think we got out
May 20
near June, and then
we got out early May.
Yeah, and then then this year I don't know I hope it'll go out in June.
I really don't want it to be because I'm missing out on a lot of work for Scott's Lawn Care, as you see on my shirt here, for all your lawn care needs. Even got my motto on the back, says "Covering grass to get the cash." It's fancy.
SLC.
Mm-hmm. SLC.
On his truck, by the way.
Mm-hmm. You see that's the thing I like about having all that stuff on my truck. I'm the only Ford Ranger in Johnson County with that. Only Ford Ranger with a ladder rack, strobe light, and lawn care stickers. That's how people know me.
Yeah, especially in snowtime.
Yeah. Which, that's the thing, too. I also work in the winter. I went and cleared driveways today.
How much did you make off that?
Well, I only did my grandparents, so I didn't make any money.
That.
But see, later on.
Yeah, that would be a bad job.
No.
Just go around. You don't have to get paid for it.
And that's,
just go around and shovel snow.
Well, that's one thing, too, that's great about being a high school student. You can do stuff like that, and, people would hire you. Because, you're just a kid doing it. And
that's another reason why I don't want to go out in June. Because it's a shorter summer. I think, say if
shorter summer and,
the first week of June. It's just a week off of summer, but everybody wants to have a long summer.
Yeah, and especially for students working, because that gives us more hours. Yeah, for me, it gives me more days to cut grass, and I can fit in more yards, and that gives me a lot of money. And for students working at stores and stuff, that gives them more hours they can work. Which, and that's going to suck if we have a long summer. That means less time to work. Which, some people will be okay with. I know a lot of people are the more money the better. And I can see that. Because you can put that money to going to college, getting a vehicle, stuff like that.
So there's a couple of kids that I know that they've actually worked overtime and actually have a bank account to get a vehicle. Brett Cardle saved up money and ended up buying himself that Audi.
Yeah, because I know before he had a F-150.
Yeah, he drove that. He drove the white or silver one.
It's white. I remember passing them all the time whenever I go out to work.
Yeah, he used to drive it, and then he ended up buying that.
Yeah, that's cool. And that's the thing with mine. I could set it up and set aside to where if I want to, I can go out and get a newer truck. But I'm pretty happy with my Ford Ranger right now. That's one thing too. In high school, a lot of us start getting our first vehicles and driving, and that's one thing that's neat too about high school.
Oh yeah, it's completely different. Once you start driving, it changes the whole concept of waiting on your parents.
Yeah,
and it's amazing. It feels so good just after school if you want to go home.
Go home.
You don't
You
have
go-
to
you
wait.
just drive
You don't
home.
have to ride the bus or wait on anyone to come get you.
Yep, you can just drive home. That's the
Yeah.
greatest thing about it.
Or if you're like me, I always go to my grandparents after school. On my dad's side and my mom's side, I always go to alternate between them every day. So I just do that. Or if I need to go do work after school
Or after practice. That's another
or after
greatest
practice.
thing ever. After practice, you don't have to wait anymore. You
Yeah.
just drive home.
That's the thing I love about this year of tennis, or in last year too with tennis. I didn't have to wait and be taken over to the tennis courts or
Dropped
be
off,
picked up. I could just drive over there.
was a great
And it was
advice.
great too, especially with tennis. Like for our away games, I wasn't stuck walking to Fazoli's to get food. I had more choices. Like I could drive over to Hardee's and get food, and I did that.
I love driving now.
Yeah,
I was dreading it once I was 16, and before I got my permit, I was dreading it because I didn't think I thought it was going to be scary.
yeah,
But once you start doing it,
it's not bad.
oh, it's awesome.
No, and it's a sort of like self freedom. You sort of like, hey, I want to go do this today, and as long as your parents let you do stuff let
Yeah.
you,
Especially on like a Friday night, if you just want to go out in the plaza and hang out,
hang out with friends.
you can,
Yeah,
anytime you want.
and that's one thing that's cool, especially after when you get your intermediate and your permit, you're limited to how often you can be out and stuff.
Yeah, that is one thing I didn't like about
Mhm.
permit.
But now, I have my full license. I can go out. I don't have those restrictions anymore, but I don't do that because I like to sleep. But, yeah. Lord, I wish I would have slept in this morning. I got up at 6:30.
I woke up at 6, went back to bed, woke up at like 1.
Yeah.
Because I had slept the night before. I'd been up 1 o'clock that morning, all the way through school, all the way after school to about 7 something. And I was dying.
That's one thing, too, that's fun about getting into high school is now you're sort of, that's one thing, in elementary school you had a bedtime, you had to go to bed at
I never had a bedtime.
I had
I've
one.
never had a bedtime.
I had one.
They
I
just
hated
said
it.
you can go to bed whatever time you want, but you're getting up for school.
Yeah. I had a bedtime. I hated
Never
it.
had a bedtime.
I think in elementary school my bedtime was,
Don't 6, 7,
it wasn't 7.
8.
It was either 8:30 or 9. 9:30
I
maybe.
could've never done
9:30 at the latest maybe.
Now, also, I didn't have really a bedtime either because
But that was
home.
early elementary school, all for elementary school, into elementary and going into middle school, I could stay up to 10:30. Now it's 11, 12.
Yeah.
It's 11.
For me.
It's 11 when I'm supposed to go to bed, but I usually just stay up because I can't sleep right away.
That's been a normal time since middle school. 11, 12.
Yeah.
Because I'd come home from practice. Sometimes I wouldn't even make it to 11 o'clock. Because I'd come home after practice basketball,
Mm-hmm.
go in my room and lay down with everything from practice still on, practice jersey, shoes, everything. I'd fall asleep and go right to bed, and I'd wake up the next morning.
See, I never had that problem. But most of mine has gone up because with tennis and stuff, we've had matches where I haven't got home till 10, 10:30.
Yeah.
Sometimes even later. There's one I didn't get home till 1 in the morning because we went to play at Moorhead.
I was going to say, who do you guys, is there schools around us that have tennis?
Yeah, just about every school.
Honestly, I never even really looked into it.
Paintsville, McGoffin. Paintsville has one. McGoffin, Pressburg used to. They don't have one anymore. Pikeville has one. We played him. quite a bit. Shelby Valley has one. We played him. Sheldon Clark. Quite a few.
I didn't know that.
When we play them. The thing with tennis is with Paintsville especially because we both share the tennis courts. We're all big buddies. So if it's oftentimes we'll do double headers with Paintsville and stuff against another team, and we all sort of just hang out together. That's one thing that's cool because tennis, we're such a small sport. At most we have 10 at most on boys tennis team.
Really?
Yeah. And the minimal requirement to play is 6. So we have 4 extra, which is all right. And and that's not like, and that's better from last year. Like last year, we had 7 or 8. We had 8 at the last year. It's like
I never really thought about joining.
tennis is fun, and this year our coach is Mr. Triplett from the middle school, so it's awesome.
I couldn't remember.
Mr. Wolfter does the girls.
I was gonna say, I thought he done both at one time. But didn't he have a girl play? Didn't he have a girl play?
Like what? I don't know. I have no idea. But this year, I know Mr. Wolf. I'm pretty sure he's retiring.
Is it?
Which he said that every year, but I'm pretty sure this year he's meaning it. Which, that's okay, because one of the new teachers here, Mr. Five Paul's going to take over for us. Which he's
in the freshman wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he played tennis when he was here, when Triplett was the coach back then. And now he's going to come and be the boys' coach, and Triplett's going to take over the girls, which ever since he's been here, and even last year before he was here, he'd come out to like every practice and be there to help us.
I do remember he won like a tournament or something with Allie.
Not like
class.
Well, like not like in like actual school one, but like
no, but it was like a
out of a high school. Yeah, like out of the high school sports organization. Yeah, like in one of those tournaments. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I remember seeing a photo of them two standing there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's really good too, Jared. He's super good. He comes out and helps us with practice, and it's honestly so much fun just being out there with tennis because like Mr. Triplett, he's sort of loose with us.
Yeah.
So he'll take a couple at a time and go over and work with him, and then the rest of us, he'll just have us play like doubles or singles and whatever. And like yesterday, at one point, we were singing songs and playing. I don't even remember what the song was, but it's like old 80s and 90s like romance songs. Yeah.
I had him in class.
I wish I had him in class, but like basically I did because I went and talked to him like every single day.
I had him for
English.
Mm-hmm.
I had Miss Fireman. I loved her. She was a good teacher.
I had him for 8th grade year, and he was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But most things we did was poems and stuff.
Yeah. See, I had Mr. Wolfter for homeroom and science, so I had him like in the mornings. I had him like first period and for homeroom, so it was great. I know now we're looking into spring and summer sports starting. There's gonna be a lot more starting up. Like I know they've already called out baseball and stuff, and I think that's gonna be an interesting year with baseball. Like we always do pretty good with it.
Yeah, I think the only competition that we'll have looking, because I'm not playing.
Yeah.
But I've been looking, and I think Pikeville and Paintsville and us will be all three really good. But that's cool. I think we'll have a tough region this year.
Yeah.
Tough region.
Yeah, and like I know with tennis, we've always looked at it. The hardest teams we play has always been Belfry and Pikeville.
Pikeville should be all right in baseball this year.
Yeah.
Paintsville actually could be really good. I mean, I'm not saying we can't be really good, but we're gonna have a tough region. I think we're all gonna be tough.
Yeah. And like I know with tennis, like going into the season, we're playing like actually next week we already have matches start up, which I think next week we're playing just a lot of teams that will be easier than ours. But like I know this year Pikeville will be hard. Pikeville's always been a hard team to play, and then so will Belfry. But Belfry I don't think will be as hard because they lost some really good players. But they lost 2 of the really good players I know for sure, the McAmee boys. But we still have the little McAmee, as we call him, their little brother. And he's really good. And I don't know what grade he's in, but he might know.
You can be on the high school team in middle school, can't you?
Yeah, I was on the high school tennis team in middle school. I started 7th grade.
That's what I'm saying, because there's a lot of sports that you could actually be on in middle school. Or, high school sports you could be on in middle school.
Yeah. And that's
baseball you could be on.
That's
softball,
really cool here, like and
basketball.
Like with our schools too. I know our schools do it. That's really cool. Like we have opportunities for middle schoolers to come and be on high school teams.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
See,
cool.
Middle school for basketball, my 7th grade year, Jacob Rice was called up for high
That's
school.
cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And he was the only one that I'd ever heard of doing that.
And then, like in tennis last year, we had a couple kids from middle school come play. We don't have any this year, I don't think. No, we don't.
There's a lot of sports that you could do, or that's in high school that you could do as a middle school.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Fishing, bowling maybe, if you're good enough.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing, that's the only thing with, middle school. If you're in middle school wanting to do a high school sport, you just have to be good enough to compete.
Well, they also got to ask you to.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, if you're good enough, they'll come and ask you to join high school.
I didn't have to do that with tennis. I wasn't asked, but also I had my cousin Clay and cousin Kyle playing, and that at the time our coach was Jason Wheeler, and he was really chill. He's just like, "Yeah, come on out, and we'll show you how to play." And he just let me come on out to practice. And I didn't play in any matches, but I went out to practice, and I practiced with him. It was really fun. And then I think, and that's going to be fun as spring sports are starting. We're going to have a lot more stuff start with that, like baseball, softball, and then I even know they're doing spring soccer.
Yeah,
They had a call out for that the other day.
Yeah, that's a good time to do it though.
Yeah, like spring.
Start.
Start, get everyone out there and get warmed up. And I know a lot of people with fall sports are already starting to get warmed up, like volleyball. They're already starting to.
Well, that's not a bad thing to do.
Already starting to look at who they want for their team and having practices and stuff and tryouts.
I know. Johnson, Brian Johnson actually does really good with the soccer girls because he'll go to tournaments with them, take them to tournaments and everything. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and then
that's very helpful.
Excuse me. I know with what was I going to say? I know with volleyball, they've already been having practices and stuff and little tournaments.
We'll do this, when baseball starts starting up. Games. I'm gonna go watch them.
Well, that's one thing I know too when baseball's starting off because I'll come home. I'll be coming home from tennis practice. You drive by here, all the baseball fields are lit up and stuff.
Yeah.
But you did baseball last year, didn't you?
Yeah. It was a fun time. Freshman year might have been the funnest year of my baseball life.
See, funnest year for sport for me was probably this year at bowling. This year at bowling was awesome.
Well, it was fun too. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah. And tennis so far I'd have to say is last year, but that might change with this year.
Because there was a time where me and you had we obviously was talking in class.
Yeah,
and
we've been talking since what, sophomore year?
Yeah, well, freshman too.
Well, freshman year, yeah, because we had the class.
But there was kids on there on bowling that I had never talked to in my life.
And now you talk to all day, like Logan. Yeah, Logan Spriggs. Well, and that's really all we have this week, isn't it?
Yep, that's all we got.
Yeah, that's going to be it for the episode number 2 of the JC podcast. Once again, I'm one of your hosts, John Scott Daniel, here with...
I'm Brett.
And we'll see you next week.